Hi there, everyone. My name's Toby Rutter, and I'm Academy Principal here at Outward Academy Hemsworth. Absolute privilege to be the principal of this wonderful school, and I've been here. I'm just in my 4th year at the moment. Can I start off this presentation just by apologising that I'm doing this as a recorded message to you to watch, as opposed to you being on site. Just that part of one of our measures to keep everyone safe is just to reduce the numbers of lots of people coming together for mass gatherings, such as coming into an assembly hall to receive such a presentation. But I do hope that you get the opportunity to come round and still visit the departments, and I certainly will be there on the evening to answer any questions for you. And if there's any follow-up questions that you may have after this presentation and from coming onto site on Tuesday the 5th of October, then please do get in contact with you, because we're here to help you. So, let me tell you about Outward Academy Hemsworth and why it is such a privilege to be principal here. Here's our vision: students first, raising standards and transforming lives. That doesn't mean that students get their own way and everything they say goes. It actually just means that every decision that I make and that my staff make here has always got to have a positive impact on students, and that's the way that we'll always operate. And our vision is quite simple. We want to be known as an inclusive academy, where we are based in the community. We want to be the school of choice of our community. We're not interested in trying to recruit students from all over the district. We want to just serve our community that we're here to serve. And we really want children to be cared for, where they feel loved and valued, and that we can raise and transform those lives for them. And that's for us what putting students first is. Every member of staff that I appoint here, this is really crucial. The first one is they absolutely will go above and beyond for children, and they deeply care about children. Yes, you want your son and your daughter to do well academically, but I'm sure you want them to be cared for, to be happy, and to make sure they're safe when they come to school, so that they can flourish and they've got that foundation in place to go on and perform well in whatever it is they choose to do in later life. I want all my staff to be experts in their fields. And so I want to appoint the very best staff that can impart their expertise, knowledge onto your children, so that they can go on to be expert in their respective fields and actually push the boundaries even further when they get into their careers that they choose. And I want them to be obsessive about attaining the highest standards, therefore enhancing children's life chances. That's the highest standards for your children. I say to my staff, I want you to treat the children here as if they're your own or part of your own family, or that our parents are paying a fortune for private education as well. We've got to have the highest expectations for these children, because they are brilliant and they can go on to do amazing things. So our values is we want to transform the life chances of children. We really want to have a big focus on the basic skills of literacy and numeracy, as well as employability skills, so that they can, when they leave us, have the best possible start to life. So some of the things we do for that is that we currently have 2 specialist literacy TAs appointed that work across the younger year groups, and also 2 specialist numeracy TAs. And we also work with a careers company called Careers Inc., making sure we're developing their employability skills and giving some excellent advice and guidance for all of our children to make sure they can go on to do the things they really truly want to do. We also believe that local children should attend local schools, as I've mentioned, and we're not selective in our admissions. And as an academy, we could select, but we just don't believe in that. We believe that we should serve our local community, and we fully welcome all children from all backgrounds, and are very inclusive. So from our vulnerable groups, such as our special education needs children, if you have a son or daughter that has particular needs, then please do come and talk to us about those needs, so we can start putting the plan in place to make sure they have a smooth transition and enjoy and are successful here at Hemsworth. So I've just put on the next slide, we do have a SENCO, Kim Penn, so in case anyone wanted, as you're here on the evening, to put a face to a name that you could stop and ask any questions to. We also have an inclusion officer and a SEND officer that works closely with Miss Penn to make sure that we're giving the support for our SEND students the best we possibly can. And there are provisions that we have. We have the Bridge, which is up in the inclusion area, and we have our personalised learning centre, which are also good venues to come and visit, where we use them to support some of our SEND students and other students as well. So we can put that package in place to make sure that your child gets the best that they absolutely deserve. A little bit about the trust then, because we're Outward Academy Hemsworth, and there are a lot of Outward Academy schools. In fact, there's 40 of them now, and you can see that's ranging from Stockton-on-Tees, Middlesbrough way up north, all the way down to Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, across from the coast near Hull, where you can see is in Scunthorpe, Out Academy Brumby, and Out Academy Foxhalls. And then we've just started to work with some schools over in Manchester, Liverpool way there as well. So you can see we're growing as a trust. It's not our aim to be the biggest trust. We don't have goals set that we want to have so many schools. It's all about quality of education for children. And as long as we're doing that, and then we can support other schools, then we will look to do that. But it's not a medal to get as many schools as we can. But you can see with 40 schools, that comes with great responsibility, working across lots of regions. We work in primary schools, we work in secondary schools, we've got an alternative provision. We have our own Outward of Institute of Education, where we're responsible for CPD of staff. And we've got a big annual income as well, £196 million. And that collectiveness that we have together means that we can grow and share good practice truly as a family of schools, talking to each other regularly to improve the quality of education that your children will get whether they attend an Outward Academy here in this region or in another region. So an example of that might be that schools that are local to Hemsworth, we've got Outward Academy Shafton, Outward Academy Carlton, very close by in Barnsley. We've got another few schools in Wakefield as well. And I meet and talk with those principals on a weekly basis, at least, to make sure we're sharing good practice. So there's some really good practice going on at Outward Grange Academy in Wakefield, that I will know about it and I'll share that, and I'll make sure that our children here are benefiting from that. So that's a bit of a flavour about the trust. Now, it's recognised as one of the highest performing change schools, and it's often that as a trust we're asked to go and support schools because of our record. I've put a link on there, I'm not going to go into it, but there was an Ofsted of a multi-academy trust, so the whole trust was subject to an Ofsted inspection in 2019, and that's the report that's on there. So if you want to know more about that, how we operate as a trust and what Ofsted thought of the trust, then please have a look at that link there, or you can just Google it and you can find that as well. But that is an interesting read if you're thinking about sending your child here to Outward Academy Hemsworth. It's not just that you send them to Outward Academy Hemsworth, you're sending them to an Outward school which has wider benefits as well, some of which I'll discuss further on in my presentation. Other examples about us as a trust, and this is a bit of an old photo, and this shows a picture of some of our executive principals who support principals in schools, our specialist subject directors, and our wider team of executives that work across our schools, giving that permanent capacity to drive standards for your child. So I'll give you an example here. This gentleman here, Ted Snell, he's a senior director in English. So he has a team of English directors that are proven successful heads of departments. So they've got good credibility, they've been there and done it, they've done a good job, and they work across schools driving standards. So it might be that in an English department here at Hemsworth, there's some wonderful practice, which there is, and we share that practice with other schools. Now, Ted is also he's an ex-Ofsted inspector, so very knowledgeable, but he's actually the chief principal writer of the English board. So he helps write the papers as a principal moderator. And now he's got fantastic morals as Ted, and he would never tell us any of the questions and answers that are coming up on any of the exams. But what he does do is he trains our staff about the skills that our children need to demonstrate in lessons to be able to perform well, to achieve well in English, which we know is such an important subject. This lady, Catherine Greenhouse, she's a senior director of maths, and like Ted, she's got a team of directors that are all maths specialists with proven track records, and they work across our schools. But she's also in charge of the Yorkshire and Humber Maths Hub, and she's responsible for delivering CPD to all phases of learning of maths for teachers across that huge area of the country. And that's not just for Outward staff, that's for all staff. So you can imagine having her working for us, and she does come in and visit Hemsworth and works closely with the directors that are based in Hemsworth. It's hugely beneficial, for our staff, for the CPD they receive, but obviously the knock-on effect that has on children that attend here. Bit of a flavour about results, and a bit of an interesting one, because we haven't had official exam results since 2019, so that's the middle column. Sorry, the second column to the left. And so the last 2 years have been, last year was the teacher assessed grades, and the year before that was the centre assessed grades. And then at the far end, you can see what the national average was, but we don't have the national average the last couple of years. I thought it'd be more interesting for you to compare it when there was the last set of robust exams. Now, we know nationally that the grades have gone up. We operate a really robust process here because using those directives, we standardise the grades by doing very similar assessment or the same assessment pieces across our schools. So students in English, for example, here will be doing exactly the same assessment pieces of work as they were in Shafton, as they were up north in Middlesbrough, etc. And then we look at, well, if a child's performed this certain standard here in Hemsworth, what grade should they get and how does that compare to other outward students? And when we've got those 40 schools, that does give us a bit more robustness and accuracy in what we're reporting. But nevertheless, they weren't actual exams, they were teacher assessed grades. But you can see that the improvement we're making in our Attainment 8 score across the years is very positive. This is a school that is on a journey. The Attainment 8 score is the average grade across 8 subjects that the government would like students to study to ensure they're getting a good breadth of their curriculum. And they have to include certain subjects, but ultimately it's across 8 subjects. And what it's saying is in 2017-18, the average grade was just over 30, which if you divide it, it's actually divided by 10 because English and Maths count double. It's averaging around just over an average grade of a grade 3. And you can see that now we've added over 1.5 grades across every subject for every student in that period of time. If we look at our English and Maths at a grade 5, you can see when I first arrived here, the school was brokered and Outward Grange Academies Trust was asked to come and support the school. In 2017-18, only 20% of students were getting that gold standard pass in English and Maths at a grade 5. And you can see that's more than doubled, up to 45% in the last couple of years, which is above the national average in 2019. This is despite our students entering the academy below national average. So they're entering below the national and they're leaving above the national. So as I say, the school is on a journey. I think there's a lot more potential to come. I think we can still further improve. But I asked parents in 2017-18 at the Open Evening, I said, take a leap of faith with us, because there's a proven track record that we can do well for your children. And this is evidencing what we said we'd do is actually happened. But what I'm saying to you now is we're not done. There's still a lot more to come from these students. There's some wonderfully talented students, and we've got some great staff here that's supporting them. And a student here now that has 5 years, 15 terms of high quality education, or 7 years of this going to sixth form, really can do better than the results than what I'm demonstrating to you right now. Pardon me. And in terms of passing English and Maths at grade 4, you can see we were down at just under 40%, and now we're into the mid-60s, just over mid-60s, which again is higher than the national average. Now, what does that mean? So we went up 30% in our English and Maths at grade 4. So what? Well, actually, for us, if I look at my current Year 11 cohort size, that's 60 children, 60 students now passing their English and Maths that can go to college, that haven't got barriers to university, and that can get on apprenticeships that are so difficult to get onto. That's what that vision's about transforming lives. 60 students now in this community doing much better than what they would have done a few years ago. Now, you might be sitting there, well, that's fine. You've looked at the grade 4, the grade 5 boundary, but actually my child's very bright and I want them to be getting some of the top grades that are available. Well, this is pinch of salt time again because it's 2019 exam data, but there's only 5 schools in Wakefield that actually were higher than us in the percent of students achieving a grade 7 in their English and Maths. And this is an example of a student last year. I know it was teacher assessed grades, but I'm absolutely confident she would have got straight grade 9s across the board. And you can see there's a lot of information there, but essentially this is that Attainment 8 where it shows you her performance across all the subjects, and she got a teacher assessed grade of a grade 9 in every single subject. And that's above what her target grades were based on how she did at primary school. So it shows that the staff here can deliver and teach to the very top of the specification, for the very, very highest grades. This current student is now in our post-16 studying further maths and is applying to go to Oxford in the future. But we can do that. And more evidence of that is that last year, 11% of our students achieved an average grade of a 7 or higher. Now, for those that are unfamiliar with that, the scale now is a grade 0 through to a grade 9. A grade 7 is equivalent of the old grade A. And this isn't 11% of students getting at least one grade A stroke grade 7. This is 11% of students having an average grade across all of those 8 subjects of a grade 7 or higher. So there's even more students that got grade 7s or higher in other subjects. They didn't just get that across all of their subjects. So high ability students really are performing well here, and that is recognised now by the performance in the sixth form as well, being absolutely excellent. And then this chart, I'm not going to go through too much. I just want to get a key message across that a few years ago when I first came, and Outward Grange Academies Trust came, this was the performance of individual subjects. And essentially, you might not be able to see all the exact data, but red is poor. Red is saying the students are making negative progress studying this subject in this school compared to if they went to an average school across the country. Amber, getting there, but still not quite good enough. And green is you're getting a really good deal studying this subject in this school compared to an average subject in another school across the country. So green is where we want to be. So that's 2017-18, there's 2018-19, there's 2019-20, and there is 2021. So you can see there, and I'll just go back, but there's a massive improvement of now the expectation of what's happening. So not only are core subjects, English and maths, really performing well, but students are getting a really good deal across a good breadth of subjects that they study here. I thought it'd be nice to tell you about what we did during the lockdown, because you might be interested about that. We haven't got the exam results officially to show you. So I thought let's talk about what we did in lockdown. Now, there's a lot of information in the press about private school versus state school, and how private schools were getting a better deal because they were all having live lessons because parents are demanding it because they were paying a fee, and state schools were getting left behind. Well, our approach here on the last lockdown was that we moved to live lessons for every single lesson. We basically lifted the whole school and delivered it in a virtual world. So all of our interventions, if students receiving counselling, if they had careers interviews, if they had one-to-one support in Year 11 for their English and maths, or they had small group work in the younger years, so numeracy and literacy support, working on their phonics. If they had a TA that helped them in lessons in school, that TA would actually be in their lesson in the virtual world as well. So we lifted every sort of provision we did, and we made sure that we could provide that for 25 lessons a week. And then we also did the tutor time, so they had that regular contact for someone to check in on their well-being to see how they're doing, so they could see their tutor every single day. We had 97% of students access all their live lessons. The number of hours increased dramatically throughout that time from when we very first started to launch it. We added on nearly 10 hours on average per student per week. And that really came about because of good communication with parents and carers who may well have been at work and wasn't quite sure what their student was telling them they was doing was actually what they were doing. But by working closely with families, we had a really successful period of time. And we did, speaking to our heads of departments at the moment, although there are some areas that we still need to work on with our students, the approach to live lessons really has limited the impact of COVID on our current Year 11 students. In terms of supporting families, we issued 150 laptops to students to make sure there was no barriers to be able to access those live lessons. We delivered those to the home. We gave free SIM cards and made free Wi-Fi available. And we basically removed every barrier we could think of to ensure that no matter what the starting point or background of that particular student was, that they could perform and still access their curriculum just like any one of their peers. Feedback that we received, so this question, I believe that live lessons ensured that my children did not fall behind in their learning, that we had, you're looking at about 85% there, either agreeing or strongly agreeing, with a tiny proportion in the red disagreeing, and 11% not sure, not neither agreeing or disagreeing. And overall, I was pleased with the approach the Academy took during lockdown in January. And you can see again, overwhelming majority strongly agreeing or agreeing, and we had nobody disagree or strongly disagree with that question. And then just some of the comments which I think are nice for parents to see, because that's what it's about, the parent view of what they think with the work we do as an academy and how well it supports them and their children. So this one, to all staff members, I want to say a massive thank you for all you've done for my child throughout this pandemic. You've all worked so hard, and for this, my child and family are truly grateful. And thank you to the Academy and all the staff for providing excellent care and fantastic teaching throughout a turbulent time. Well done. And just a couple more. I'm very proud to know my daughter is returning to Oct Academy Hemsworth at post-16, as your staff are committed to caring and educating young people. And I believe that the set routine of providing, this is a different quote from another family, providing Year 11s with a full timetable of lessons took away some of the worry and uncertainty that occurred from the 2019 to present. Oct Academy Hemsworth diligently kept in touch. The standard of teaching was second to none, and well-being seemed paramount in all areas, especially with the support from the Year 11 Learning Manager, Miss Dickinson. And what happens is every year group has a non-teaching member of staff class as a learning manager. And the reason we do this is that because they're non-teaching, it means they're much more accessible for you as parents and carers, and for students as well. And they're the first point of contact that they can support with any concerns that you have in the academy. In terms of the community view then, because we say we haven't got those exam results really to say, yes, the exam results have improved, even though we believe they have. Well, last year we had 167 students in Year 11 that have left us, and this year in Year 7 we've got 244 students that have joined us. So you can see we are becoming that school of choice in the community, which is we want. Families are choosing us, I believe, because of the work that we've done in the academy, not because of the results, because we haven't had that to publish, just because of the experiences that children are getting, that they're happy, they're safe, they're cared for, and they get a good education. Our sixth form has doubled in size over the last few years. Again, because of the popularity, we're now getting students in, and particularly in our Year 11, who are saying, well, actually, I've got a really good deal in Year 7 to 11, and I want to stay on because I know I'm going to get a good deal in post-16. So that's very popular. And just to let you know, for next year, for your admissions, then the capacity that we have is 240. So you can see with being at 244 in Year 7, that it's a popular school, and if you are considering here, then putting us down as first choice is going to be important for you, because it's highly likely that we will be oversubscribed with our intake in the following academic year. In terms of parent view, which you can view this on the Google list, Ofsted parent view. So my child is happy at this school. We've got 100% strongly agree or disagree. Sorry, not disagree, strongly agree or agree, with nobody disagreeing. My child feels safe is 100%, again, strongly agree or agree. And I would recommend this school to another parent. We've got 95% of parents saying they would recommend the school and 5% saying they wouldn't. There's been big developments over the last 4 years. So one of the things I said to parents 3 years ago, and I said, take a leap of faith. You know, we will improve things. We will invest in the buildings. We've just moved into, and if you get a chance to come round for the open evening and walk around, you'll see the new building we've moved into. Approximately £6.5 million spent on that building. New dining hall, new performing arts facilities, lots of new classrooms in there. We've already spent £1 million on the sports centre, again, the infrastructure right for that, so aircon, lighting, electrics, so it's set up for us to further improve that in the future. We've got £1 million to spend on our main hall, which is our listed building, to bring standards up there. We've already spent approximately £1 million on other areas like windows, new boilers, and this is one of those things about being part of a big trust that's stable, like the Outward Grange Academy's trust, is that we are going to continue investing in this school and in your children. We do have plans, like I said, about the main hall, and there'll be additional works that will continue throughout your child's time here to make sure the facilities match our ambition for your children. They should be state-of-the-art facilities. Lots of fun stuff to look forward to. So one of the best things about coming here is just the enrichment that you can do. I'm a big believer that children need to come to school with something to really look forward to, and often that's your hobby and something that you're just passionate about. So we have enrichment clubs that run from 2:30 to 3:30. We put additional buses on, so people do normally get the bus at 2:30. They can get a bus home at 3:30. And we just say to them, go to some clubs that you're really passionate about, that you enjoy, that might become a career or might not. Might just be it's just one of your favourite things to do, and it makes your day a really positive experience in coming to school. Typically, We had, prior to COVID, we had 60, 70 clubs a week running across all age ranges. And that's something that we are getting back up and running with now that restrictions are starting to ease. We have Family of School Sports Day. So another brilliant thing about being part of a big trust is we hire out university sports stadiums and we get all of our elite athletes so if you're really interested and good at sport, competing against each other from all of those other 40 outward schools, coming together and having a really good day of high level competitive sports. And we do a sports day in the summer. Great event to go to. I love going to that one. We've also hired out big performing arts spaces like the Barbican in York, which has got capacity for thousands of people to go and watch, parents and carers. You will be invited. You'll be very welcome. If your son or daughter is passionate about their performing arts, then as well as doing all the local in-house school productions that we do, we would also have a Family of Schools one where the performing artists across all of our schools get together and they put on a show for us and we all attend and have a great time. What a fantastic, life-changing experience to be able to perform in front of thousands of people at a venue like this. We've also hired out the West Yorkshire Playhouse before. And we've got some talented students. So part of our enrichment programme, our choir were regional finalists down in Birmingham in 2018. And then we went to a national theatre in 2019. So out of all the schools in the country, had to go through local, regional rounds to get to the national theatre. We went down for a weekend down there. There was only 10 schools that were finalists, of which 2 of those were only typical state schools. The rest were specialist performance colleges. And our students went down there, had a wonderful, wonderful time. Again, if you're passionate about performing arts, music, etc., there are opportunities there that are life-changing opportunities like there were for these children. A wonderful weekend that we had for them. So there's talent everywhere at this school. We like to support and recognise students graduating from one key stage to another. So because our expectations are quite simple, come to school regularly and try your best. If you do that, then we will reward you. Everything we do, all the excellent trips we have, so we have international trips, we have skiing trips to Paris, we have lots of internal trips, so I know that we're just in the process of planning one to go to Sheffield Steelers and give experiences for students that will enhance their lives, because it's not just about results, it's about them being happy and safe and flourishing at school. And we will reward people and say if those trips are oversubscribed, actually it's the people with good attendance and good effort that are going to get the priority to go on those desirable trips in the first place, because that's the main thing what we ask of our students. We have the prom in year 11, we have a prom in year 13, again celebrating good effort and good attendance. And then we have a big student voice program where students elect who they want to be part of that student voice, and then they do excellent things in the community that are the right things to do. So things like raising money for charity. What's our role in sustainability is one of the big focuses for us at the moment, and how we can be better as an academy, making sure that we are a sustainable academy. They do raise money for all sorts of national charities, but in particular we'd like to take a big focus on some of our local charities, because like I said at the start, we're quite a big believer in being a school that serves the community here in Hemsworth and the wider suburbs. We give you a report every half term, what we call our Praise and Stars reports. We like to keep you informed. So on those Praise and Stars reports, it will have all the subjects, their target grades or their age-related expectations if they're in Key Stage 3. And ultimately, it will give you their effort grade and the progress that they're making, and then raise any concerns that we may have, if there are any concerns around homework or attendance, and possibly inviting you into some of our parents' evenings if that's appropriate. It will also give you information about their attendance and if they've been involved in any sanctions or if they've received any praise comments from their teachers because they're doing really well. So that comes out every half term. And then we have something called the pledges, because again, it's not just about having good results. We know we need good results because that will open doors for students to be able to get on the courses they want to do in the future, but it's about that well-rounded individual. So we ask students to try and hit our 10 pledges, and they can be things such as attending an after-school activity, representing the academy in a sporting or cultural or academic event, taking part in a production, doing a formal presentation, being involved actively in an international experience or a community experience, taking part in fundraising and helping with sustainability. Just a flavour of a few of those pledges, that we do, and we obviously put those opportunities on for our students to access them. And we say they have 3 pledges will be a bronze award, 7 pledges is silver, and we hope our students will get 10 pledges, because if they get 10 pledges, again, if they're applying, for example, for an apprenticeship or for a place at university, it gives them something to put on their personal statement that will give them an advantage over their peers across the country and hopefully help them do very well. We have a tutor time, which just focuses on personal development. So tutors will all be in a year 7 tutor, and that helps us making sure that we can deliver some of that personal development, that spiritual, social, moral, cultural work with students that's age related and appropriate for them. So they will see their tutor for 20 minutes at the start of every day. And that offers that network of support that they need, and there's a year group they can focus on those particular elements that are important for them at that given time. So in year 7 they'll be focusing on that transition into the academy. In terms of the school day, so we start with tutor, like I just mentioned, 8:25 to 8:45, that 20-minute period. Then they have 2 one-hour lessons, and then they have a break within period 2. So I'll put that as 15 minutes because every year group has their break at a different time. What we do with the year 7s is they have a break by themselves, and with some 6th formers as well, just because they're there as role models to make sure that they're settling in to the academy. We do the same with lunch, so then there's another period 3-hour lesson, but at lunch there's an hour and a half there. It'll be an hour lesson and half an hour lunch, and the year 7s will be on the middle lunch by themselves again. Lots of staff, including myself. I try and get there most days. If I'm going to have a lunch with any year group, I try and do it with the year 7s, just so I can talk to them, see if they're settling in to academy life, and see if they've got any concerns and if they're happy and if they're safe. Then they have a period 5, which is the end of the formal school day at 2:30. But then we have those enrichments that I talked about from 2:30 to 3:30, which are on site. Sometimes they'll go beyond that, but that'll be communicated with you by those subject teachers. So, for example, if you're taking part in a sporting fixture away at another school, then that would go beyond that 3:30, but you'll be made aware of that. And then we have what's called master classes, which is aimed at our year 7 to year 9s at the moment, and it's a virtual classroom, and we've got some of our most amazing teachers across all of our schools in our central region from the outer schools, so 8 schools delivering high quality lessons for students. So if they want to study a bit more history because they're passionate in it, then there might be a specialist history teacher, might be from this school or from another school, be delivering sessions that they can opt into as well, and they can opt in for as many of those as they like, and however frequently they want to do that as well. Uniform, so all of our uniform is branded with the Outward Academy logo, and every new year 7 will receive a bundle that is free. So we will be giving everyone that joins here a blazer, 2 shirts, blouses, trousers or skirt, a tie, the full PE kit, which is the shorts, the polo shirt and the outdoor rugby top and socks, which is an approximate value of £100. Now the reason I do that is because I want everybody to look the same, because that's what the whole word of uniform actually means, and it reduces bullying. Because if we can get uniform being exactly the same for all students and there's no barriers, then we can just get students into school and get them focusing on their learning. The big thing about outstanding schools is 99% of conversations should be focused on teaching and learning, not about picking up uniform issues. So if we give you that uniform in the first instance, then that solves that, and we can crack on with the important thing of what's going on in the classroom and the wider classroom. And I'm really strict with bullying. We know that if students can't afford certain things, that they're more likely to be bullied if there isn't that uniform there. Don't tolerate that. Students need to feel safe and happy at school, and by having a good uniform that's consistently worn by everyone does reduce that bullying. If there is any families that are struggling beyond that to replenish, because I do ask that you replenish the uniform then after you've received your first bundle, we do have a hardship fund which you can contact our finance office for, and we also support families to continue to purchase uniform throughout their time with us, because we don't want uniform to be a barrier to learning or feeling uncomfortable when they come to school. We want them feeling happy, positive, confident, so that they can do well in their classes. I put here, you're always welcome to come and have a tour. Some schools say you can come and have a look round. We've just got to bear in mind that it's difficult times at the moment, still that COVID is about. So I put there, we have an open door policy, and we'd love to show you around the academy whilst it's in operation. I put at any time, but I'd just like you to contact us so that we can be mindful and coordinate how many visitors are coming on at any given time. But it is a genuine open offer. It's not that I'm going to say you can come around on this day for this time and I just show you around. Actually, we'll fit in with your lifestyle. You're busy, you might have work, and you might only be able to come on a certain day for a particular period. I will find some member of staff to take you for a walk around the school, or you can visit lessons, visit the facilities, and see that what I'm saying now is actually happening. So you're very, very welcome to do that. If you'd like to do that, then please do contact my PA, it's Jacqueline Wicks, and I've left her email there, and we'll organise getting you around to have a look around the academy. But hopefully you'll be there on Tuesday night to speak to teachers and departments, but it's always nice if you want to go and see what's going on in classes. Like I say, you're very, very welcome. Because if we do all this, goes back to our vision. It's about raising standards, and hopefully I've demonstrated for you tonight that's about all ability levels and all backgrounds we're raising standards for. By doing that, we're transforming life chances so that students can make a positive contribution to society and go and live happy, healthy lives, because that truly is always about putting students first. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this. If there's any questions you do have, then please do get in contact with the Academy. You've got the website there where the inquiries email is, and someone will get back in contact with you to support you with your queries. I hope you have a positive evening if you're coming on Tuesday the 5th. And if not, like I mentioned, you're very, very welcome to come for a look around school. And hopefully, if I'm free, it might be me taking you for a tour around, and you can ask any questions to me as well. Take care, and hopefully see you all in person soon.